Welcome to the Pop on Film. I am Bunny Williams, and with me is
There you go. I'm the Pope in question. My name is May Lynn. I am the founder of the Church of Ed Wood, which is an actual thing worth a Google. It is episode 458 of the podcast, and this is some of the shortest podcast notes I have had in a long ass time. Because the monologue won't be the longest in the world. It'll primarily be a discussion. For Hap, I'm just going to talk about my last weekend where I performed at Pride. And this week's movie sucks ass.
this is true.
And is the absolute worst Rocky. There are so many crimes that this film has committed. And I must say that the worst crime is the song sucks.
Oh yeah.
They put their entire money on, we've got the new Eye of the Tiger.
Yeah.
We've got the new Gonna Fly now. It's called Go For It. So we're gonna have people say that line throughout the movie. During the big fight, his son will be saying, "Go for it." It'll be in all the ads. Go for it. But the song sucks. That is a horrible crime for a Rocky movie. And it pisses me off. But that's a different story. Bunny!
Yes.
Hi!
Hi.
So
Not yet, but I'm working on it.
Nice. I don't remember if I was going to take an edible, and I don't remember. I was going to take but I don't remember if I took one or not, so I'm not sure. We'll find out in about an hour. So I performed last week.
Yes, you did.
In front of hundreds of people, and I want to talk about it during Hap. I was originally going to talk about it here in the monologue, but I like the routine that we've set up with our monologue, where we talk a little bit in the beginning, banter about what's coming up with our podcast, with our episodes, and then we pick a news story to discuss. And I have a good one that I think might lead to a nice discussion.
Okay. I'm just glad we got a Julian Sands movie in this summer of Yo.
A Julian Sands movie?
Yes. I was feeling
Who's Julian Sands?
Julian Sands, who's in Boxing Helena.
Oh, yes. Okay, yes. That's right. I'm just really happy that when they hired a black person to do a bad Don King impression, that they didn't get Keith David.
Yeah.
Because Keith David is an amazing actor, and being hired to do a bad Don King impression is beneath the man.
Yes.
So I'm happy. You would not believe who choreographed the fight at the end of Rocky V. I'm going to save it for the end, but it's all I want to talk about.
What is this?
Who choreographed the street fight at the end of Rocky V? It is all I want to talk about.
Well, I always go with either Paula Abdul or Tony Basil,
or that Mexican guy who did Newsies. He also, Tony Ortega. He also choreographed Michael Jackson's final performance that never happened because he died.
Yeah.
He's a famous choreographer as well. You knew that Cats, the movie, was in trouble when the trailers advertised from the director who brought you Les Miserables and the choreographer of Hamilton. That's like a new film from the sound editor of Pearl Harbor. Okay, yeah. Something's up.
Yeah.
When you start getting to that level of advertising something. So, Pink.
Okay.
The singer, you know Pink, right?
Bunny? I know of her.
Okay.
She never like calls or anything.
The 42-year-old singer recently performed
Well,
a
she
big
doesn't.
concert at
Unless, is she calling
London's
you?
Hyde Park.
She's
And
not
throughout the
calling me, so
concert,
she's not calling.
I'm not sure if this is a British thing or not. Okay, completely out of left field. I recently watched I've been thinking a lot about British people lately. I follow a British theme park YouTube channel called Review Time.
Okay.
And they did a really nice little, like, 11-minute video about how Tokyo Disney has an Indiana Jones ride that is completely different from all the other Indiana Jones rides. And while describing the plot of the Indiana Jones ride, the announcer said that, however, during the excavation, Indy discovered booby traps and skeletal remains.
Okay.
Skeletal. I'm wondering, has this guy just never seen the word skeletal before, or is that how they all pronounce skeletal in England?
That is interesting.
Aluminium.
Yeah, they pull that aluminium
skeletal
crap.
remains. Who the fuck's? I've never heard that before. Who says that?
Nobody.
Hi, Ranger Kate. So I've been thinking about British people lately. So Pink, the singer, performed at London's Hyde Park, and throughout the concert, people are giving her gifts while she's on stage, including bouquets of flowers, teddy bears, fan paintings, and a giant wheel of cheese.
There you go. Now you could drive home.
I am so confused. Who thinks, oh, I'm going to see Pink perform? Better get my giant wheel of cheese. How do you get to that? In your head, I'm going to bring a giant wheel of cheese to give to Pink.
Well,
that is so random. I've got tickets to go see Neil Diamond perform this weekend. Better get my Jenga set.
Well, I would think you would want it to be something random because you would want Pink to remember it.
Okay,
you know,
well,
so like flowers or something. And as we all know, women are fascinated if you give them a piece of cheese.
Yes, very much so, Bunny. So, Pink gets a giant wheel of cheese on stage. This isn't news. It should be. You should see her face on stage holding a giant wheel of cheese that someone just handed her. It's a very bizarre face, but not as bizarre as the other face she made.
Would you qualify it as fascinated?
I would say so. I would say that she was fascinated.
The look on her face? Yeah,
yeah, she was pretty fascinated. But here's the big thing. Okay? What happened next became big news. A fan threw a bag of her mother's ashes at the singer.
Yes, I heard of this.
Who paused, picked up said bag of cremated remains, and asked the fan if indeed the bag was filled with ashes. Ever the professional, however, Pink said, I don't know how I feel about that, and then proceeded to stash the ashes, which is very difficult to say. Stash the ashes. Stash the ashes. It sounds like a 2004 rock band. Stash the Ashes. Performing with Coheed and Cambria.
See, unfortunately, it's Pink. It's Pink and not like ZZ Top where you could stash the ashes in the mustache.
Yeah. What, Maxwell?
Say that without almost saying the A word.
Yeah. Stash the ashes.
Stash the ashes? Yeah.
Yeah, so she stashed the ashes behind a speaker and continued the song. That's professionalism.
Yes.
Right there. Pink is a professional.
How far away from the ashes was the cheese, though?
I do not know. Ashy cheese. Ashy cheese. It sounds like something that they would eat in Finland or like right before they burn the guy and the bear in the pyramid at Midsommar. They have the ritual where they eat the ashy cheese.
Yes.
So, Bunny, what are your thoughts on this vitally important news segment thus far?
Well, there seems to have been a rash of things being thrown on stages with a
Mhm.
lot of performers. But, like, look, you're getting how many millions for this performance? Learn to fucking duck. I'm sorry.
That's a good point.
Quit your whining. This is a hell of a payday. If somebody pelts you with their dead mother's ashes, hey, that comes with the territory.
I performed at Pride Fest. Not only did no one get me cheese, no one threw ashes at me, but I would like to think that if someone threw a bag of ashes at me while I was on stage, I would have, because I have the reflexes of a cheetah, of a trans cheetah. So if someone threw me ashes, I'd just smack them right back and
Yeah.
say, I don't think so. Denied like volleyball. Bam! So herein lies the discussion, Bunny. Question. Well, first, a statement. Apparently, we can just throw ashes at celebrities now, which is a
I'm
pretty
counting this
big
as a
deal.
positive.
So with this in mind, Bunny, what celebrity would you like to have your ashes thrown at after your death, taking into account the fact that some British mum will no doubt be haunting Pink for the foreseeable future? Bunny, who you pelting? Who you haunting?
See, you're taking it from so many different angles. Now, who am I haunting?
Yeah. Celebrity.
Celebrity. I'm going
'Cause I've
Ben
told-
Stiller.
Ever since Natasha and I got married, I told her, like, hey, if I die before you, you can't remarry because I'm haunting the shit out of you.
Yeah.
So, like, not anyone personally. I'm talking about celebrities. Who you pelting with your remains, and who you haunting? Those are two different questions because I would like my ashes to be thrown at Tim Curry. But here's the thing: if I have my ashes thrown at Tim Curry and Tim Curry dies, does that mean we're now ghost buddies? Because I don't want to hang out with Tim Curry as a ghost, you know?
Yeah.
That sounds creepy. I would want my ashes to pelt Tim Curry just out of, I don't know, respect for the man and all he has done.
I think for who I would like to be pelted at still has to remain Selma Hayek.
All right.
But who
I
I would like to haunt, I'm going Ben Stiller. Yeah.
That's a pretty good one. You know who I was thinking? Because I thought of all these people who I would want to haunt, but then I thought, oh, but if I'm haunting them, that means I'm sticking with them for a long time, and there are just some people who I don't want to be tethered to.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, who? So then I was thinking, okay, what celebrity would I be comfortable being tethered to? And that's when I came up with my final answer: Tom Hanks.
Tom Hanks.
I bet being tethered to Tom Hanks or Bill Murray would probably be fine.
There's motorcycles outside.
There's a motorcycle outside?
No, a lot of motorcycles going
Yeah.
down the street.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
You live right
So, yeah, just something fun to think about. You know,
Yeah.
what celebrity are you pelting? I was also going to talk about something else, but I'm saving it for next week's half. Bunny, we are recording this on July 2nd, Sunday, July 2nd. Yesterday was July 1st, which in the world of sports is known as Bobby Bonilla Day. Do you know what Bobby Bonilla Day is?
No.
Okay, great. I'm glad that you don't. Don't look it up. Don't Google it. Don't Bing it. Don't ask Jeeves it. That's hap for next week. And I find this shit fascinating.
Okay.
It is an incredible story of something that happens every July 1st. And I guess I just didn't know about it because I've just never been a sports person. But I'm trying to open myself up to new things and things that I have shut myself off out of. And so I have learned about July 1st being Bobby Bonilla Day, and I find the whole thing fascinating. I found myself liking a country singer.
Really?
Yeah.
That may be going too far.
Yeah, that's really surprising. Luke Combs, he's really popular right now. He has a song called Cold As You that I really like. He also recently did a cover of Tracy Chapman's song Fast Car.
Yeah.
And I have some problems about a white man taking a black woman's song. However, next week, the song should become the #1 country song in America, which means Tracy Chapman will be the first black woman to have written a #1 country hit in America.
Cool.
That's vaguely historic. And it's like, oh, wow, okay, there you go. Good. I kind of like that. So that's it for the monologue this week. I am excited to get to Hap. It's going to be a short one. I just want to talk about my performance at Pride. So cut on the monologue. And Bunny, play my Hap intro.
Hat.
Is it done?
There we are.
Okay. Hi. I love that intro. It really doesn't make sense now, but okay. Bunny!
Yes.
If you're like me, you're no doubt a big fan of this. You know what? Fuck the intro. I performed at Pride, y'all!
Yes, you did.
Yay.
Performed at Pride, and I'm so happy about that. What I've been trying to do lately is I've been trying to have one massively cathartic, moving experience a year. In 2022, I ran a marathon, and that was a big deal for me because my dad was a semi-professional bicyclist and a marathon runner and a triathlete and yada, yada, yada. And so when I was little, when I was like 8, he made me run a marathon with him, and it was like a 5K fun run or something. And while I was running, way early on in the race, I fell and I broke my knee open, and it started bleeding everywhere. But my dad didn't see the bleeding; he just saw his feminine sissy son on the floor crying, and said, "You better get up and finish this race, or I'm going to leave you." And I didn't because I was bleeding. So my dad left me there.
Okay, yeah.
And so I finished the race by myself and then collapsed and was sent to the medical tent. And to this day, I don't think my parents believe that I finished the race. So being able to train for a marathon and run the marathon and finish the marathon was a big deal for me. I finished 11th in the women's category and 28th overall, which is a huge deal for my unhealthy abs. You really got to get... Maxwell has been doing a thing where he's been popping in and holding up random things. And it's funny, but if you notice on the corner here, like on my Zoom screen, it's really big, but on the actual screen on Twitch, it's very small. So if you are going to be popping in and holding up random objects, you really got to lean closer to me, okay, in the future. just to let you know. So then this year I performed at Pride and it was a big deal and I absolutely loved it. And I'm really proud of myself. And I just wanted to talk about it here on Hap. This cat just keeps jumping up here and it's driving me nuts.
Suddenly there was just a cat's ass.
Yeah, so this is today's Hap because I believe it's an historical event that I performed at Pride. They gave me a half-hour set, so I did about 45 minutes. And I came off stage, that was the first thing out of my wife's mouth. You were 50 minutes over. And I'm like, really? And she's like, yeah, didn't you hear me? Didn't you see me on the sides? Like, no, I was in the zone. I have no freaking I have no concept of time, no concept of how long I was. I was just rocking it, and that was all I was focused on. My favorite part of the performance was there was one part that I was super excited to do, and I told everybody about it. I told my wife about it. I told my kids about it. I told my oldest ones about it. I'm going to do this one weird thing. And everyone says, oh, okay. All right. If that's a bit weird. Why are you doing that? Are you sure? And I'm like, yes, it's going to be great. And everyone's like, oh, okay. And I started doubting it. But at the same time, I'm like, no, have faith in yourself, Mei Lin. You're going to rock this. So I went on stage in between books and I said, okay, this was going to be the big giveaway part of my performance where I was going to give away t-shirts. Now, to be clear, I didn't want to give away t-shirts because I wanted to give out t-shirts. I just felt that this was the only chance that I'll ever have in my life to shoot strangers with a t-shirt cannon.
Yeah.
And also, to be clear, I was going to George Romero this. I was going for headshots, just bam, bam, bam. But the Pride Alliance.
So you were looking to put a motherfucker down.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. And I'm saying all of this to the audience of like hundreds and hundreds of people. And, you know, they're laughing and the Pride Alliance wouldn't pay for the t-shirt can. And then also, apparently, I would also have to pay for t-shirts. Yeah. So that was a lot of money and I couldn't afford that. So I wanted to give away something. But again, thanks. So I wanted to give away something, but it had to be something that I could afford. So I gave away 7 copies of Nickelodeon's live-action sitcom The Naked Brothers Band on DVD. Wow. You know, I've got these like crappy DVDs, and I'm holding them up. I am absolutely serious. Who wants a free copy of The Naked Brothers Band on DVD? And it's so interesting because all of my life I've been hired to do story times to entertain children, to entertain little kids, to entertain families, and to entertain this and that. And here I am in front of like hundreds of people, and they're all like teens and in their 20s and 30s and 40s and 50s and older people, and they're all gay and they're all cool. But when I started giving away copies of a Nickelodeon live-action sitcom, there were some freaking cool-ass, too cool for school, hipsters, gay 17-year-olds who rushed the stage like I was the friggin' Beatles. Get themselves a free copy. And there's little kids like, I want one. And then there are adults like, me. And it's like, I knew this would fucking work. I told everybody, and everyone thought it was going to be too weird. But I'm giving them away, and I said, I would like to thank Fire Lake Grocery Store by my house for always carrying DVDs that no one in their right mind would want to spend money on. And while I'm giving away copies of the Naked Brothers Band on DVD. And then there's all these people in the audience, and one of them was a family who used to come to see me at the bookstore in Oklahoma, and then went to go see me at the nonprofit in Norman. And now they're here to see me perform at Pride. And I asked the dad, I said, hey, can you take a few pictures? Because all of my family's backstage. And so, I just wanted some pictures. And he said, yeah. And the Pride Alliance, the group, that I was performing for, they took footage of the entire thing, but it's also a massive organization, and I don't know if I'll ever see that footage. I've asked them about it, but I haven't heard anything. But and also I tried doing a live stream, but I couldn't get the live stream going at the time of recording it. And I had a camera set up on stage with me, but they said it is super hot out there. It is dangerously hot. It's like getting close to 100 degrees. So we're going to move your chair and your speaker back so you're not burning in the heat. But they had drag shows, drag performances. So there was a runway that went through the audience. And me being me, all hyperactive and stuff, I started walking up and down that and talking directly to people and moving around. So I have footage, but 80% of it does not have me in the footage.
Okay.
So that kind of sucks. But that's why I got the sunburn. I spent most of my time directly in the sun during the entire performance. One thing that I'm really proud of is that I was worried that here's all these cool, beautiful, wonderful, young and old gay people who are here, and then here's me, and I'm a stay-at-home mom.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not a drag performer. I'm not a singer. I'm not a band. I'm not a dancer. I'm not burlesque. I'm not a drag queen. I'm just a trans woman reading some kids' stories, and I was a bit worried about that. And then I get there, and I'm being introduced to all the sound guys and the sound technician and the other sound technician, and here's the stage manager, and here's the lights. And you can tell that the Pride Alliance, who are all gay, hired all of these straight-ass white dudes to run the stage, and they're just there for a paycheck. And they're off to what's your name? Maylin? Okay, hi, my name's John. This is John. And this is John. We're going to be running things for you, just making sure you got a smooth performance.
Damn in the morning.
Worry about it. I had their asses cracking the fuck up on the side. There was one time where the main sound guy was on the floor because he was laughing so hard.
Yay!
I made 2 dirty jokes on stage. One was on purpose. The other one was accidental. The first dirty joke I was reading, that was the one that was on purpose. I was reading the book Prince and Knight. And while the knight is distracting the dragon by using his shield and his armor to shine a light into the dragon's face, the prince jumps onto the dragon and really quickly starts wrapping rope around the dragon and ties the dragon up. And I say, wow, it looks like this prince has had experience tying people up with rope. And I continue reading the book while I hear people laughing in the audience, and I see the sound guys right next to me laughing their asses off. And so I stop and I say, look, if you thought anything dirty just then, that's your fault. I led you to the lake. You're the ones who jumped in. I'm keeping it clean here. I'm trying to do a clean show. There's kids here. Crap. And then I continue reading it. It was a big deal for me to say crap. In fact, one of my former booksellers from the Barnes Noble in Norman came to me after the show and said, "You said crap." And I said, "I know. This was my first story time that was well and truly just for me."
Yes.
And not for anybody else, you know? And so my second dirty joke was a real bad one that definitely all the straight sound technicians love. All the guys who definitely have Pornhub accounts loved this joke. I didn't mean for it to happen, but I ended with the very, very hungry caterpillar because at the end, I do this teary thing where I talk about how I was a caterpillar for 40 years, crawling around on the floor, not knowing that I had wings inside and could fly. And I've been a butterfly for 2 years and I love it, but I mourn all of the time that I lost that I could have been a butterfly flying in the air. So I'm reading The Very Hungry Caterpillar by Eric Carle, and I get to the point where he says he wasn't a little caterpillar anymore. He was a big fat caterpillar. And at that point, when I'm doing a normal story time, I say, "Hey, we shouldn't body shame, not even caterpillars." And I wanted and that's what I usually do when I read it. But I wanted there to be some sort of a hook, some sort of an ending to that joke, some sort of a punchline. So
Yeah.
I ad-libbed something and I said, "Hey, we do not body shame here at Oklahoma City Pride Fest," and everyone's cheering. It's a cheap pop like McFoley. We don't body shame, not even bugs and insects and caterpillars. I think, and off the top of my head, I thought, what about like a BBW, which is a term for a big, beautiful woman, but for a caterpillar. So I said, I think that this caterpillar is a big, beautiful caterpillar. Just don't use those initials. And then I kept reading it, and a few people in the audience laughed. But the white, straight sound guys were on the effing floor. I just made a big black cock reference
Yes.
in the middle of an Eric Carle book, and they lost it. And I thought, hey, maybe this Storytime event will be popular and maybe it'll get some offers. I wasn't expecting the first offer once I was done to be from the fucking straight white sound guy.
Really?
But he came up to me and said, let me tell you, that was one of the funniest fucking performances I've ever seen. Have you thought about doing stand-up comedy? And I said, well, I consider my story times to be stand-up comedy, because the way that I saw my entire performance was it was a pilot for my story times being for kids and adults. I've always felt that, but I've always had to cater for kids. So my 45-minute set at OKC Pride Fest was like the first time that I could officially say I made everyone laugh. There were maybe like 20 kids there. All the rest were adults, and they fucking loved it. And so I feel that I could go to a bar and do a story time. I could go to a dispensary and do a story time. And so he took my contact info and is trying to get me some performances at colleges in Oklahoma.
Cool.
And then I'm walking around the afterwards. I'm walking around the Pride Fest, and all these people are stopping me. Maylin, oh, I love your performance. And these trans people are coming up to me and saying how I inspire them, yada, yada, yada. And I find a company there that I wrote an email to a few weeks ago trying to get some performances. And they said, Maylin, we saw your performance. It was hilarious. We're sorry we haven't emailed you back, but we want to be in business with you. And so they're having a 2-year anniversary for their business, but this weekend is the end of their 2-year anniversary party. And sometime next week, we're going to sit down and we're going to go through the calendar. And so I haven't officially announced it yet, but yeah, I'll be doing some story times for a restaurant in Norman fairly regularly coming up soon.
Nice.
That's freaking awesome, dude.
And then afterwards, the first thing out of my wife's mouth is, "You were 15 minutes over," and I'm like, "Oh shit." And the president of the entire Pride Fest comes up to me and said, "You blew. That was amazing. That was incredible. We can't wait to have you next year. We can't wait to work with you." And I'm like, "I went over. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry." And he said, "Don't worry about it. It was great. You knocked it out of the park. You did wonderful." And then afterwards, I saw the vice president. The vice president was just gushing over me. And she said, "When you auditioned for Pride, our jaws were on the floor. And we automatically started thinking about all the things we can do together. So we're going to get together." Yeah, we're going to get together and start thinking about ways that I can perform for some gay-friendly story times for kids around the Oklahoma area.
I have a suggestion. Maybe it's already been suggested, but take some of those banned books and read them loud and read them proud.
Yeah, that's why I read Prince and Knight. I said even in the event that, like, this is a banned book. Basically, if you have this in your possession and you fly into Florida, the moment you step out of the airplane, they tase you in the privates. And that is why I am reading it today.
Well, I think they do that even without the book.
Yeah, even without the book.
It's,
But yeah,
it's
so
just,
that was my.
it's just
was my
the
story.
welcome to Florida. You know,
Yeah.
you go to Hawaii, they put a lei around your neck. Go to Florida, taser to the privates.
FYI, on Twitch, it says The Pope on Film, episode 457, Rocky 4. It is episode 458, and we're doing Rocky 5.
Oh, how about that? I forgot to change that shit.
Just wanted to point that out.
I appreciate it.
No problem. So now I'm just in this thing where I'm still trying to come down. You know, it's been 1 week since I've done the performance. And I'm trying to just get back into normal and just not having. One good thing about having finally done the performance, I can stop listening to so much Rocky soundtrack.
Yes.
Really happy about that. I could go back to listening to normal music and not getting pumped up with the Rocky soundtrack. So that's a positive.
People in chat, can you identify the things that Maxwell's holding up? Just wondering.
I know what he's holding up. I don't know if everyone on the small screen can. So that's it for half this week. I performed at Pride. It's amazing. And now I'm looking towards the future. And thank you. Cut on that. So we're going to take a short break. When we come back, we're going to be discussing Rocky 5, or I think it's pronounced Rocky V. Rocky V.
Rocky V?
Rocky V. You won't believe who choreographed the fight scene at the end of the movie. It'll blow your freaking mind, and I can't wait to discuss it. But
Burgess Meredith. He wasn't in the movie, but he choreographed it.
No, it is weird.
Yeah.
Where's my puppet? It's like a fucking Teamster. Every time you turn around, he's off on a coffee break. We got a building to put up here.
My name is Mr. Steve. I'm a storyteller. Hello, everybody. Mr. Steve here, and it's time for another Mr. Steve short story time. Today's story time is We're Different, We're the Same, and We're All Wonderful. A Sesame Street book. We're different. Our noses are different. We're the same. Our noses are the same. They breathe and sniff and sneeze and whiff. Our hair is different. Our hair is the same. It grows on us in several places. It warms our heads and frames our faces. Our mouths are different. Our mouths are the same. Their lips form the words we say and smile when it's a happy day. Our skin is different. Our skin is the same. It tells us something's cold or hot or wet or dry. It knows a lot. Muscles and bones are wrapped inside it. We all have blood and skin to hide it. It keeps in warmth. It keeps out dirt. It warns us so we don't get hurt. Our eyes are different. Some of them are googly eyes. Our eyes are the same. They see, they blink, they weep, they wink. Oh, remember when you could be in a movie theater like that? Our bodies are different. He used to be an imaginary friend. That's true. Our bodies are the same. They stretch and bend and work and play. They all need food and rest each day. They dance and wriggle and ride a bike. They might look different, but they're alike. Our feelings are different. Same, Telly Monster, same. Our feelings are the same. Lonely, worried, scared, excited, happy, loving, glad, delighted. I want to go to the haunted house. We're the same. We're different. That's what makes the world such fun. Many kinds of people, not just one. A rainbow would be boring if it were only green or blue. What makes a rainbow beautiful is that it has every hue. So aren't you glad you look like you? We're different. We're the same. Can you kids spot Elmo in this picture? Dude, I really like these guys. They're jamming. Pretty sure that's the Grateful Dead. Okay, I'll give you 5 more seconds to find Elmo. 5, 4, 3, 2. He's right there. He's right there. You see him? This guy, not this old woman. This guy right here. We're wonderful. The end. Yay! Well, that's today's story. Did you like that, boys and girls? Remember, we're different, we're the same, and we're all wonderful. Just because someone is a different size, a different color, a different something, doesn't mean that they're any different than you. We're different, but we're all the same. Hope you guys enjoyed that. Be sure and like and subscribe and all those things I'm supposed to say because I'm somebody on YouTube. We'll see you later. Bye.
Menstrual cramps.
Good mother of God, I'm coming apart.
Menstrual cramps. The irritation.
Oh no, please don't. Oh, this was my favorite onion.
The diarrhea.
I have to go. Oh, shut up, get out. She's saying Mommy's cramping. Now.
Menstrual cramps.
She's getting tighter and tighter and tighter. Where the fuck is the chocolate?
The pain. Menstrual cramps. The most common cause of menstrual cramps is stress.
No shit.
Hey, try these.
Does this really help?
It does when you do it right. It's your uterus that's stressed.
Oh, yes.
Don't live in pain. Call 1-800-555-9969
and order Dr. Rod's superpowered vagina balls. Just 3 easy payments of $59.99. 1-800-555-9969. Operator standing by. Order now.
Hello, Tim's mom? Have you seen Tim anywhere? He's not here at the studio, and I'm beginning to worry. 911? Hello, Queen of Germany? And I'm hungry. Actually, I'm more hungry than worried. You can forget about worried altogether. Yes, it's an emergency. My friend is missing, and I'm sandwichless! What kind of sandwiches you got over there in Germania? Who the hell are you calling a brat? Could you make me a sandwich? I like mayonnaise on both sides of the bread. Miracle Whip? What kind of possessed hellhound are you? Sandwichless! SANDWICHLESS! Do you understand, motherfucker? Hello? 911? Hello? Maybe I should call 912. I hear you're getting a lot of hits on Tinder. Nice. No, I will not let you cover me in mustard and sauerkraut, you pervert! Wait. Is that in Germanian dollars? Yeah, now we're talking.
Hello, I'm the other Liz. It has been brought to my attention that there's a gentleman out there by the name of Gene. Now, Gene is very close to somebody that I know from a long, long time ago. He's a friend of mine, and therefore Gene, by de facto, we are good friends as well. And now, Jean, I shall read this for you. Rusty Cage. You wired me awake and hit me with a hand of broken nails. You tied my lead and pulled my chain. To watch my blood begin to boil. But I'm going to break. I'm going to break my rusty cage and run. Too cold to start a fire. I'm burning diesel, burning dinosaur bones, yeah? I'll take the river. Down to still water and ride a pack of dogs. But I'm going to break. I'm going to break my rusty cage. It's like a Phillips head into my brain. It's going to be too dark to sleep again. Cutting my teeth on bars and rusty chains. But I'm going to break. I'm going to break my rusty cage and run. Poof. When the forest burns along the road like God's eyes in my headlights. when the dogs are looking for their bones and it's raining ice picks on your steel shore. But I'm going to break. I'm going to break my rusty cage.
I have to tell you something. I'm only a myth. And until next week, I'll be mything you.
From a million to one shot, he became a true champion of the world. Now, the glory.
Because of the continuous violent blows to the head, the effects are irreversible.
The crowds.
My husband is retired. He has nothing more to prove.
And the money are gone.
You lost millions.
Look, I still got my place in the old neighborhood.
His title is in the hands of a new champion.
He might win a few fights, but he's no Rocky Balboa.
Controlled by an unscrupulous promoter.
This is your medical report. It's not so good, but we can work around it.
All that's left is his family.
We've been down before. I'll get it all back.
His heart.
I gotta fight, okay? I got problems, I gotta fight.
And a dream. A dream to get it all back.
This is a tremendous opportunity.
Opportunity for who? For you to make money for him to be disabled?
You know he can't carry Balboa's guns.
As long as they got Balboa on the brain, he'll always be champ. Got to challenge that man to fight. And if he refuses, then you gotta insult him. You gotta dog him. You gotta humiliate him. You gotta do whatever you got to do to get him into that ring. Hey, Tommy, you're a piece of garbage, you know that? That's it! You told him I'd fight anywhere, anytime. In the ring. Tommy Gunn only fights in the ring. My ring's outside.
Yeah.
Let's do it. Come on, Tommy, knock me out.
And we're back with more of the Pope on Film.
Hi.
Hi.
It's time, Bunny!
It's time! It's time!
Yes, Bunny, my friend, it is time once again for all of us here on the Pope on Film podcast to twist our way into the third and final part of our big show. I've got a mouthful of pizza. I really should have thought this through. Oh. real professional here. And it is said third act, wherein we finally and eventually get around to discussing our all-new, all-yos movie of the week. And this week, we continue our summer of Yo with a look at the shittiest Rocky movie, the 1990 film Rocky V.
Yes.
Explanation of themed summer. Every summer on the podcast, we go through a theme. We did the summer of Star Wars, the summer of Saw, the summer of Fred Willard, the summer of the worst movies according to IMDb, and the summer of COVID exploitation. There's a movie out there called Coronavirus Conspiracy, which is actually just about aliens and Harambe, and it's dumb and stupid, and I love it. This summer, we are doing the summer of Yo, where we are watching the entire Rocky franchise and boxing Helena, because of boxing. And we are counting all the Yos. I didn't just watch this film. I watched the film, and then if I would play scenes over and over and over again to make sure that I could count each and every Yo. So this time, I think I have the definitive number.
I have no idea where you got that number, because we were both sitting here like...
The problem
and
is
we
that when I
would
watch
rewind
Rocky,
and go back in case we thought we missed a Yo or something. I got 18.
When I watch Rocky 2 and Rocky 3 and Rocky 4, oftentimes I had much lower numbers than you did because I get so invested in the film that I forget to count the Yos. But this movie, I fucking hate the shit out of Rocky V. So there were times when I wasn't even paying attention at all to the film. I was just here with a clipboard and a pen just waiting. And I wasn't even really watching the movie. I would just go, okay, let me go back 2 minutes. There might have been a Yo I missed. Okay, let me hear that scene again. He does say Yo Rocky. Okay, boom. And so I went through this with a fine-tooth comb specifically. I was only watching it to listen to Yos and not to actually pay attention to the action because there hardly is any. This movie fucking sucks.
Yes, it does.
I hate this film. But before we get to just destroying this film, Bunny, can you give me some guesses as to who choreographed the final street fight in Rocky V? At first, you're going to go, wait, what the fuck? But then eventually, the more you think about it, the more it will make sense.
I'm going with Paulie.
No.
He was on the set anyway, staggering around. Yeah, I think Paulie.
No. Actor Burt Young did not choreograph the final fight. I am shocked at the fact that Burt Young is an actor.
Oh! Was it Pink?
No, but that is a good guess. I am shocked that Burt Young is an actor because I only have ever seen him as Paulie. I went through his IMDb page and it's like, wow, look at all of these movies that actor Burt Young has been in, none of which I have seen.
Okay. Then let me save you some time, okay? All of those credits, they're all Paulie. That's just
kind of
who the fuck he is.
Yeah. Okay, Burt Young movies. Sarah Q, never saw it. Bottom of the Ninth, I don't think that's a real film. Blue Lake Butcher, like what the fuck? Club Fed, never seen that. The Boys of Sunset Ridge, that looks like you made that up. He was in Back to School. I haven't seen that since I was like a teen.
Yeah, he was Rodney Dangerfield's bodyguard.
Oh yeah, I don't remember that at all. Mickey Blue Eyes, I never saw. That was at the peak of Hugh Grantiness, but I never saw that movie. He was in Amityville 2, The Possession. If
Yeah,
you
he
say
was.
so.
He was the pig creature.
Oh, he was in Going Overboard with Adam Sandler. Okay, like I guess he had an acting career, but that all seems pretty sus to me. Okay.
Oh well, you missed his outstanding starring performance in Convoy.
Convoy.
Yeah.
Nice. I still my dad used to answer people like when he was at work and someone was talking to him, and my dad was all about just trying to be white, trying to blend in with white America. And so when my dad would be talking to like construction people, in order to make sure that the construction people knew that my dad was hearing him, my dad would always say, "Oh yeah, 10-4. 10-4. I hear you, 10-4. 10-4, good buddy." Like he would talk in like trucker speak. And it's gotten to the point where like I don't even know that I'm saying it, but I say 10-4 all the time.
Really?
Yeah, and it's just some sort of weird trucker thing I picked up from my dad, which is weird. The final street fight was choreographed by wrestler Terry Funk.
Really? Okay.
Fucking Terry Funk choreographed the end fight of Rocky V. And at first you go, what the fuck? But then you think of his career as a hardcore wrestler and you go, okay, yeah, if you're going to have a street fight outside of a bar, who better than Terry Funk? He was probably already drunk in the bar.
Yeah.
And they just went, hey, does anybody here have any fight experience? I used to be NWA champion. Arr! But yeah, Terry Funk did it. And you can when you know that and you see the fight, it's a different fight. Because at first it's like, hey, I'm punching you. Hey, I'm punching you. And then suddenly Rocky is doing like drop toe holds.
Yeah.
And like side suplexes and shit. And it's like, oh, okay, yeah, Terry Funk. There you go. Terry Funk had a hand in this. It makes sense. It's weird. But yeah, Terry Funk. That's the only positive that I can say about this film. Because this movie freaking sucks.
Yes, it does.
And I hate it. Fuck this movie. People go and see Rocky movies to see a good, fun underdog story. But in this one, the dog gets put down.
Yes.
Rocky is down and out, but he triumphs in the end. Of all of the movies, you know, people didn't see Rocky's success in Rocky 2 and Rocky 3 and say, yeah, but I want to see him lose everything. MC Hammer style.
Yeah. Well, that's it. I could save you the time of watching the first 15 minutes of this movie. Rocky gets stupid and poor again. That's it.
Yes! Ivan Drago beat the respectability out of him. Yeah, what was the word that Mickey said? It can happen to any fighter. You became sophisticated? No. You became what
civilized.
Did Mickey say in Rocky 3? The worst thing happened to you. It could have happened to any fighter. You got not sophisticated, but it was something else.
Wasn't civilized?
Civilized? Yeah. But in
civil.
this film, Rocky is back to just being the dumb idiot palooka that he was in the first film and second film.
Yeah. Well, I never understood how the fuck he got
evolve?
smart to begin with.
Yeah. No one thought that this film showcasing his fall from grace simply it no one thought that, like, hey, maybe we don't have to show Rocky's fall from grace, but like this movie shouldn't exist, period. This won't be the longest we spent discussing a Rocky movie because of this reason. I don't like this film. It's the lowest box office for any Rocky movie. All 5, 6, all 9 of them. This is the lowest box office that it ever had. I saw this movie the day it came out. I was in 8th grade.
Really?
It was November of the year 1990. Me and my friend Alex went to go see it. There were ads that would show all the yos. They had TV commercials where it's like, yo, 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 Rocky 5, go for it. And it's like, wow, how many yos are going to be in Rocky 5? Hey, let's all count. And I'm proud to say that the count that I had when I was in 8th grade was the same count that I had this time, going over this freaking film with a fine-tooth comb to count each and every single solitary yo. I know you got 18, but I went through this thing with a freaking, not a fine-tooth comb, like a lice comb. That's what I went through this movie with the tiniest little lice comb.
So what's your final count?
Is definitive this time. 18, no way. There were like 9 in the Christmas scene alone.
I got 6 in the Christmas scene.
6? I have a running tally, and I can tell you definitively, when you really like listen to a scene 2 times and 3 times, you really pay attention. You don't even watch the film. You're just listening for the yos and pausing and rewinding. I guarantee you, 32.
32. I'm taking that as the official number.
Yes. And we were both pretty high last week. I counted 3 in the director's cut. They were all from Pauly.
Yeah.
They were all from Pauly. I could have lived my whole life without seeing Sly Stallone's naked ass. I didn't need to see that.
No.
There's also the fact that...
But he was going very Greek statue, if you ask me.
Yeah, yeah.
He was going very classic.
A bit marbleized, but not in a good way. The thing that I like is in the beginning, you see Tony Duke Evers, who is played by Tony Burton. He was the manager for Apollo Creed. And then Apollo Creed died, and in Rocky IV, he became Rocky's manager. In Rocky V, he's only in the beginning, but very clearly, his name is Duke Evers. But in the first scene, Rocky's first line is like, "Hey, Tony. Yeah, champ, what do you need?" "Get Adrian." And Tony runs off to get Adrian, and that's the last thing we see of Tony. His character's name is supposed to be Duke Evers, and the actor's name is Tony Burton. But in, I think, either in Rocky 2, I think, Apollo Creed accidentally calls Duke Evers Tony, and in Rocky 5, Sylvester Stallone accidentally calls Duke Evers Tony. So they had to, and then in the next film, they call him Duke. So now you go to Wikipedia, and his character is called Tony Duke Evers, and that Duke is his nickname. But that's really just some bullshit that they do because they fuck up his name in a couple of different films.
Okay.
And I find that to be fascinating. the first yo is 3 minutes in as a naked Rocky yells, "Yo, Tony!" A lot of times they're quick like that. They just like rush him. "Yo, Tony!" But yeah, you mentioned this. Rocky is a dumb palooka with no brain in the first movie, and I said that the reason why he's a good boxer, he never covers his face.
No.
And it's like he's not covering his face because he can't get brain damage because he had no brain to begin with. But then in Rocky 3, he's also sophisticated and he has a brain and he's articulate. But apparently in Russia, Ivan Drago just knocked the brain out of him and he's back to being an effing idiot again.
Yes,
he's
he is.
wearing the stupid suit again and the hat and the freaking gloves and he's got the ball again. Like, he just goes back to being a freaking idiot.
Which leads me to wonder, what the fuck ever happened to his dog? Butt Kiss.
But thank you. That would have driven me insane.
And we haven't seen the turtles in a while.
But he does allegedly still have the turtles.
Yeah.
In real life. But one thing I will say, I'm excited to see where the podcast goes from here. Because I saw Rocky V the day it came out, and I hated it so much that when Rocky Balboa came out, I said, no, I am done with the entire Rocky franchise because Rocky V pissed me off that much.
Yes.
So then when Creed came out, I said I would see Creed, but in order to see Creed, I'd have to see all the other Rocky movies, including Rocky 5, which fucking sucks, and I don't want to ever see that again. So I guess I'm not seeing Creed. And now people are saying that Creed 3 is one of the best movies of 2023. And so it's like, like we're going to get there. And I'm excited to see where the rest of the Rocky film goes. The Rocky franchise. I'm excited to see Rocky Balboa, and I'm excited to see the Creed series.
Yeah.
I'm excited about that.
Rocky Balboa would have been better if they didn't have a fight.
The reason why Rocky Balboa, I think, exists is because eventually Sylvester Stallone did come out and say, okay, yeah, I've heard from a number of medical professionals, and I've heard from a lot of brain experts, and I've heard from a lot of sports athletes, and I've heard from a lot of boxers. So I would like to apologize for Rocky 5 because the brain damage that Rocky gets would not kill him, would not lead to permanent brain damage, and most fighters who had that problem that Rocky has would be able, after a while and with therapy, to go back to fighting. So I feel like the movie Rocky Balboa only exists to sort of make up for the bullshit in Rocky 5.
Yeah.
And there's also the fact that, yeah, he's like in his 40s and he's in his 50s in Rocky Balboa, and he's going back to fight. And I remember and I'm okay with that because I remember when George Foreman went back to fighting, and he wasn't that bad.
No.
He was like a 40-year-old, 41-year-old fighting like, Buster Douglas and shit like that, and managing to make it to the end of the fight. Sure, it became a decision where the judges gave the win to who's not George Foreman, but still, he stayed in there and was able to fight in his older years, and so I'm all right with Rocky Balboa.
Yeah.
As a movie. I'm also excited for the fact that apparently between Rocky V and Rocky Balboa, Adrian dies, and I'm really excited about that because I liked her in Rocky 1, I liked her a bit in Rocky 2, and in all the other films, she's just there to yell at Rocky when he's having problems.
Yes, exactly.
And I've gotten so freaking annoyed with Adrian, and I'm so excited for her to be dead.
Well, it's just part of the Rocky formula now.
Yep.
Which Rocky 5 doesn't follow the formula completely, but in which nobody died in this one.
Yeah.
But other than that, we had the emotional Adrian scene. You know, we had the "I'm afraid," you know, that kind of, or
yeah.
"I gotta be a man," or you know, some of the whiny bullshit he's crying about. We had that. We had montages galore.
Yeah.
We had quite a few montages here.
Plus, it really pisses me off that, like, I understand why Stallone did it. His son in this movie is played by his real life son.
Is it?
Sage Stallone. So I can understand why Sylvester Stallone would cast his own son to play his son in this film, where the son has more of an actual part in the film to play. But in Rocky IV, which happened just days before Rocky V, your child is 9 years old, and now he is 14 a few days later. So the only answer to this is Sylvester Stallone's son has that disease that Robin Williams had in the movie Jack.
Yes.
He's got Jack disease. He's just jacking for the whole film. So that's something. I don't like the plot of this. I don't like the fall from grace. I don't like how dumb Rocky is. It suddenly is again. And Tommy Morrison cannot act his way out of a paper freaking bag.
No.
And I would be remiss if I didn't point this out. Tommy Gunn was played by Tommy Morrison, an actual boxer with a long career. We did a hap about him over 3 years ago. It was a shap entitled, Does Tommy Morrison Have AIDS? It's a whole story that I do not want to get into right here. But Tommy Morrison has had an odd boxing career. He may or may not have AIDS. It's a whole story. What else? The worst crime of Rocky V is the Rocky V theme. Go for it. It sucks. It's lame. It's forgettable. It's not 1/10 of an eye of a tiger. It's not even an asshole of a tiger.
Yeah.
It's a toe of a tiger. And also in the original script, Rocky died at the end of the street fight, making this the Clerks of the Rocky franchise.
Yes.
Somewhere out there in the multiverse, Rocky dies in Rocky V, so that's exciting. But I'm excited to see where the franchise goes from here. I'm excited to see what happens in Rocky Balboa. Have you seen Rocky Balboa?
Yeah.
Okay, because I have not. So the rest of the Rocky franchise will be a blind watch for me. I am a bit worried to see young Jess from Gilmore Girls.
Yeah.
Although now he would be the dead dad from that show that everybody liked for This Is Us.
Yeah.
He's not a Jess from Gilmore Girls anymore.
He's still that guy from Heroes for me.
Yes, I totally forgot about Heroes. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just can't believe that I think that the best thing in the world to ever happen on this podcast was Rory finally dumped Logan Huntsberger.
Yeah. That was a big deal.
I'm still Team Jess all the way.
Yeah.
To be clear. But I got a final count of 32 yos in this film. 32 yos. You really got to pay attention and stay on your toes with the yos. I watched this film over and over again, rewinding scenes, watching them repeatedly, and sometimes my wife was here and said, "Oh, there's one," and I'm like, "Are you sure? I didn't hear it. Let me go back. Oh, you were right. Okay, I did miss that one." And fine-tooth comb, I tell you, there are 32 yos in Rocky V. Go for it.
Okay.
Have you seen any of the Creeds too? Have you seen all of
I
those?
have not seen any of the Creeds.
Okay, so I'm excited about that too. I will say that Sylvester Stallone should get more credit. He wrote, produced, and I don't think he directed this one, but he directed most of these Rockies. He wrote them all himself. He produced all of them himself. He starred all of them himself. Only two other people can do that: Orson Welles and Ed Wood.
Yes.
And somewhere in the middle is Sylvester Stallone, and he should get credit for that. He also wrote Rocky Balboa. I'm excited to get to the Creeds because the Creeds continues the Rocky story, but from a black perspective, and it's written. The Creed movies are written by someone who is not Sylvester Stallone.
Cool. That's a big plus.
And yeah, that is a big plus. I'm excited to see a modern take on the Rocky franchise from someone who's not Sylvester Stallone. They did not cast him in Creed 3, and Sylvester Stallone was pissed off about this because it is his baby. But also, I'm kind of excited to eventually get to a Rocky film without Rocky.
Yeah.
I feel bad saying that, but it's the truth. I'm so happy to have gotten to the end of Rocky 5. Fuck this movie.
Stallone just needs to hang it up now. I mean, he could barely act to begin with. Now he's just showing up and shit being Stallone.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah, I saw I saw the new Indiana Jones movie, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. It's fine. It's better than the Crystal Skull, and that's all that matters.
That's what I'm hearing.
But it's also in the beginning, like the first 20 minutes is a pitch perfect computer generated young Harrison Ford in World War II, and it looks amazing. It looks incredible. It doesn't have that uncanny valley look that they get sometimes, like in the Marvel movies where they de-age someone. It looks perfect. It looks 100% like young Harrison Ford, but then he opens his mouth and they have modern day Harrison Ford voicing him, and that's where it fucks up.
Oh.
Because it's perfect. It looks exactly like young Harrison Ford.
10-minute warning.
Harrison Ford from Raiders of the Lost freaking Ark. It looks just like him, but then he opens his mouth and says, "Yup, it's me, young Harrison Ford." And it's like, fuck, you couldn't digitize his voice in any way? The movie is fine, but I saw a preview before that for the Expendables 4.
Oh, God.
And Stallone is in the Expendables 4. I've never seen any of the Expendables movies. But you know what they're calling Expendables 4?
What?
Expend-4-Bulls.
Oh, God.
EXPEND 4 BLES. The number 4. Expend-4-Bulls. And it says something about the new Indiana Jones movie that I was watching the film and going, this is pretty good. This is pretty fun. Expend-4-Bulls? Expend-4-Bulls. Expend-4-Bulls. Oh, okay, whatever. Okay. So, Indiana Jones is running. Hey, why couldn't they get Waymond Wang to be in this film? Why isn't he in this? Why didn't they get Short Round to be in this film?
Yeah.
Expend-4-Bulls? That is the worst. Anyway, eating the popcorn. Expend-4-Bulls. And again, he's just Stallone in that movie.
Yeah.
He's just Sylvester Stallone. So,
I mean, you're still trying to pull off the tough guy thing, and I appreciate that, but, like, I know your nipples are hanging around your belly button.
Yeah. Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if he tries to do another Rocky after Creed 3.
Huh.
I don't know what it would be, but I wouldn't be surprised if he makes a film where Rocky literally dies. Because that's how serious he takes this series. I would not be surprised if he did that.
Rocky battles back after accidentally sitting on his testicles.
Yeah. At the end of Rocky 10, Rocky battles the kids who threw a frisbee into his backyard.
Yeah.
This is mine now! Because Mickey loves me! So, next week, I say next week, but in 2 weeks from now, will be episode 459. We will be watching Rocky Balboa, me for the first time. I'm really excited to watch it. We will also be discussing Bobby Bonilla Day, which I'm very excited to talk about. I was going to talk about it today, but I decided instead to make this some of the easiest writing I've ever had to do, because I could rip Rocky 5 a new asshole in my sleep. And thank you, Max, for just being here by my side for the entire time. It's been very comforting having you on my shoulder for this entire thing. You're like a Jiminy Cricket in Pinocchio, or in Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. I'm taking the kids to kids' summer movies. You know how every summer they do like cheap movies for kids at the theater?
Yeah.
Last Wednesday we went to go see Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. And I would have seen that in theaters before now if someone had just told me Florence Pugh plays Goldilocks.
Really?
And Guillermo from What We Do in the Shadows plays a Chihuahua. If someone had just told me those two things, I would have seen it the day it frickin' came out. Florence Pugh plays Goldilocks. You had me at Florence Pugh.
Yes.
I was really happy to see that in theaters. And they do a Mexican mariachi version of the Doors song The End.
Really?
In a kids movie. They do not get to the "Father, yes, son, I want to kill you" part. Surprise. But yeah, you had me there too. But it Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. I would go see that again instead of going to see the Indiana Jones movie if I had to be honest about it. The Indiana Jones movie, it's fine. It's fine. It's a popcorn muncher. And all Indiana Jones movies aim to be that, where it's like plot, 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 action sequence, plot, 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 action sequence, because they're still, the Indiana Jones movies still in their heart are just modern day serials. So every 20 minutes, ooh, how will our hero get out of this one? Tune in, same bat time, same bat channel, except it's not a serial. Here's how he gets out. And so there's a lot of like popcorn munching scenes, but I don't know. Harrison Ford's like 300 years old.
Yes.
So.
Yes, he is. That's why I have problems with him as Thunderbolt Ross, too.
Yeah. I was going to go see the Indiana Jones movie again tomorrow, but it's like, fuck that. I'm just going to go see Spider-Verse again. I would rather see that in theaters again than the new Indiana Jones movie, which doesn't say a lot for the new Indiana Jones movie. But yes, let me wrap this. Next week, Rocky Balboa. We continue our summer review. After that, we will be taking a break with Boxing Helena. So,
Okay.
positive. I don't know how many yos are going to be in Boxing Helena, but I think we'll be lucky if we get one. But I don't think there's going to be a lot of, yo, I'm going to cut you. I don't think that happens in Boxing Helena.
I don't think so.
And Bobby Bonilla Day. Excited to talk about the life and the legacy of Bobby Bonilla. But That's next week. Now that I look back at this week, the ups and the downs, the ins and the outs, Robin Williams and Jack, Terry Funk. I still can't believe that.
No.
If anything, people should go back and watch the final fight in Rocky V, knowing that a hardcore ECW wrestler choreographed it, because the fight kind of makes more sense after that. Pride Fest, BBC, Giant Wheels of Cheese. I gotta say, I think this has been a pretty fun episode of the podcast.
This has been a damn good episode.
Yes, I agree. I felt the same way, but this is. I feel that you're the one who makes that distinction and not me, and I don't ever want to step on anybody's toes. I always consider myself to be a burden. I always assume that everyone hates me. I'm in therapy, and my therapist has been helping me a lot with that. But yes, I concur with your assessment, good sir.
So until next week, I am Bunny Williams.
Look into the camera and start moving your mouth. And I am Malin, and on behalf of Maxwell and Natasha and Eleanor and everybody else in the house, I just want to say thanks for listening, and we will see you next week, you godless heathens. And you douche waffles and poopy toots. Yes. Douche waffles is just a really great bad word that we have come up with it as a family. And then poopy toots is our kids' way of saying Pop-Tarts. It also sounds vaguely bad. Douche waffles and poopy toots.
Well, no, if you remember, douche waffle was technically Mal's catchphrase.
Yes.
And poopy toots was Maxwell's catchphrase. But Maxwell would never say it. So Mal always said it for him.
Catchphrases every episode. Okay. Do 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 do. Skitty pop wow, cut and print.
Put it on a cookie.
That's a wrap.